this message, I actually received this message in December of 2024. Okay. Now, when I received this message, I wasn't quite sure what the hell Spirit was talking about. I wasn't quite sure exactly what I was supposed to do with this information. But the paper hoarder that I am, I tend to write things down and I won't throw them away, even if I don't know what the heck the message is, because I'm like, I feel like I'll need this one day. So I didn't throw it away. I kept it. And in fact, and indeed, I needed it as I was working on the other two messages from the first two videos that I dropped recently. Spirit reminded me as I was writing down information for this, I think it was the second video. Spirit reminded me, hey, you have something that you need to look at from this download from 2024. And I was like, oh, snap, I remember that. Let me go find it. So when I found the paper, I looked at what was on the paper and I was like, oh, shit. And it all made sense to me now. Okay. So this was literally a spirit box message that I received. This was not like a download like I usually get. This was a spirit box message. So I turned on the spirit box. And what the spirit box was saying to me, I wrote down and then got messages for what the spirit box was saying to me. Okay. So December 2024, this is what the spirit box said. And I'm going to read to you what the spirit box said and then give you the translation of what the message was with it as I go along. So in a demonic voice, the spirit box said to me or asked me, you want drama? And I was like, what the fuck? And then the next words it said was, I'll resurrect Israel. Okay. And I just kind of sat there like, that doesn't, what? So I'll resurrect Israel. The demonic voice was talking about the fall of Jerusalem, the fall of Israel in 975 BC. So yeah, the only way something could be resurrected is if it has died, if it has fallen. So the voice was talking about resurrecting Israel, resurrecting Jerusalem since its fall in 975 BC. Why did it ask, do you want drama? I'm assuming, and I'm just going to, it's something about Israel and Jerusalem that is not the most savory thing because that's a threat. The demonic voice asked, you want drama? And then said, I'll resurrect Israel. That's a threat. That voice was threatening me. Oh, okay, so you have a problem. You want to start some shit. You want drama? I'll bring back Israel if you want a problem. That's literally what the voice from the spirit box was saying, okay? The next thing that it said was $1 billion safe with moving parts, okay? So $1 billion safe was talking about the Ark of the Covenant, okay? And the moving parts, a person. Our vessel, our people are worth billions to the dark agenda. We're worth billions to the system, each of us, okay? So the moving parts is our body. Our bodies have what? Moving parts. Our hearts beat, our lungs breathe, like our bodies have moving parts, okay? Moving parts. So the Ark of the Covenant, like I spoke on yesterday in one of the collective videos, is the brain. It's the mind. So let me go ahead and break that down for you real quick. So the divide between the left and right hemispheres of the brain are called the Ark of the Covenant. So the right side and the left side of your brain are the Ark of the Covenant, the two tablets, okay? Scientifically, those two hemispheres are called cerebrum, whatever, cerebrum, okay? Which the Bible refers to as cherubim, because the hemispheres protect what is holy. The cherubim angel protects the throne of God. Okay, so the throne of God is in your mind. You are the throne of God. The Ark of the Covenant is in your mind. Okay, and the cherubim protects it. The cerebrum protects your brain. Okay, okay. Now, the Bible refers to cerebrum as cherubim because the hemispheres protect what is holy. And what is holy is your consciousness. Okay? Your Christ consciousness. So the left and right side of your brain, your cerebrum, protects your consciousness, your holy consciousness. And the top of the brain is the mercy seat. And the pineal gland is the seat of the soul, because that's where your soul lives, okay? So, in the Ark of the Covenant is Moses' staff, which represents your spine, also known as Lucifer's tomb, which is a corrupted mind, not of God, Lucifer's tomb. So, the Ark equals the branch, covenant, binding agreement. So, basically, the Ark of the Covenant, your brain, your Ark of the Covenant is connected to your Moses staff, which is your spine, okay? Now, if Moses parted the Red Sea, metaphorically, that's speaking of the divide in our brain hemispheres, that line that goes down the middle of our brain. That's what it's talking about, parting the Red Sea. What color is the brain? What color is brain matter? Pinkish red. Pinkish red, okay? The Red Sea is your mind, your brain, okay? So, it's literally speaking of the divide in our brain in the hemispheres. It's speaking to the fact that Moses opened up the children of Israel's spiritual consciousness, which also can be represented by the 2 stone tablets Moses read the 10 commandments from, because God gave those commandments to Moses in a mental download, the same way I get downloads, okay? The commandments were given as keys to help free God's children from bondage after they were lost and blinded to the way of God for 40 years. So we're just like the children of bondage. We're just like the children of Israel that were in bondage for the 40 years. But we don't need a Moses to read us the tablets. We have the tablets within us. We have the laws, the rules, and the words of God already within us. We just have to be able to open the ark, okay? So, yeah, the Ark of the Covenant is the $1 billion safe, which is us, with moving parts. Now, the next part says, the good thing about someone, you're the best, this person. So what that was saying was there's a carrier or defender of the covenant. So there is, like this note says, there's a prophet living now that is basically was sent by God to part the Red Sea, the brain, and lead the children of God out of captivity, basically out of the matrix, out of this system. This prophet's job is to wake up the masses, spiritual consciousness, Christ consciousness, and teach the children how to fight spiritual warfare, how to talk to and hear God for themselves, and how to seek God for wise counsel. Okay? So this prophet is here to bring the world out of the woods and into spiritual enlightenment. That's why the demonic voice asks if we want drama. Because this awakening, the Christ consciousness awakening, the collective awakening, is a problem for this energy. Okay, so let me continue. Now, the spirit box also said, color is in my other vein. Our family should be. Okay, so color. It's talking about people of color. POC, people of color. Hispanics, blacks, natives, Asians, people of color. Okay? Is in my other vein. Our family should be the bloodline of God. What I've been talking about in the last 2 messages, the bloodline of God, the bloodline of Ra. When I got this message from the spirit box, I had no idea what the heck he was talking about until now. And I was like, oh my God. So the bloodline of God is in my other vein. It's in God's other vein. Okay? Our family should be. The bloodline of God should be in God's other vein, basically, okay? So they need to be aware that they are of the bloodline, okay? Next, encore, children. We're not a ... because there was a space in between them, most high, okay? Encore, children, is talking about the reincarnation of Ra's bloodline. Like I spoke of in the last video, the reincarnation of Ra's bloodline, as far as the bloodline descendants, the foundational Ennead, Shu, Tefnut, Geb, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, Set, okay? So, encore, children, is speaking about the reincarnation of Ra's bloodline. We're not a most high. So that's them, the Ennead, saying that they are not the most high God. They are the divine God. Let me break this down for you and explain the difference between the most high and the divine God, because there is a difference. The most high God is part of the God spell, the gospel. Okay, but I'm about to break it down to you what the Most High really means. Now, really quickly, the Spirit Box also said forgot. Basically, people forgot who God really is. Now, the breakdown of the Most High. The Most High God is not the divine God. The divine God is Ra, the Son, the Creator, the Sustainer, the Life Giver. Okay? So the Most High God is not the divine God. The Most High God is the Bible God. The Most High God is the world, the physical realm, the earth plane, okay? Most, the word most means generally, the word most is generally understood to be closer to 60%, while the word most can include 100%. It's generally understood to mean less than 100% and is used when the number is significantly higher than 50%, but less than 90%. Okay? So the Most High God is 50% or more, only up to 90% of what the divine God is, but not 100% of what the divine God is. Okay? So the Most High is literally only considered and called the Most High because it's literally acknowledged by the vast majority. That doesn't mean it's actually the Most High God. It's just the most acknowledged by the vast majority of the world, okay? But that's because it's exalted above the divine God, the Son, Ra. Okay, the Bible God is not the divine God. The divine God is higher than the Most High God. The divine God is 100% God. The Most High God, the Bible God, the world, is only exalted between 50 and 90% of Ra God. It's not the real God. It's just the most acknowledged because that's the one that we've been given and taught and trained and fed. Okay? It's not the true divine God. So, moving on, the two witnesses of the book of Revelations are basically going to witness the truth of God, the truth of Ra, the truth of the Son to the collective, to the masses. And the two witnesses are a divine counterpart couple. That's why in the spiritual community, someone implanted that whole shit about twin flames. That shit was implanted to keep the collective distracted. There is a divine counterpart couple, and this divine counterpart couple are the true two witnesses that were spoken about in the book of Revelation, okay? These two witnesses are of the bloodline of Ra, of God, and they are coming or are here to witness of the bloodline and the true divinity of God, of Ra, okay? Now, let me break this down to you real quick who these two witnesses are. These two witnesses are part of the Ennead, okay? They're part of the Ennead. The two witnesses are a divine counterpart couple. The two witnesses are Isis and Osiris, the reincarnated iterations of Isis and Osiris in this lifetime, okay? Now, when the book of Revelation speaks of the two witnesses being slain and left in the street for 3 days, 3 days equals 3,000 years because 1 day with God is 1,000 years. So 3,000 years is the length of time that these two witnesses are in the street after being slain. That's the spiritual warfare. That's the period of, or the length of time that these two, Isis and Osiris, have been put on the back burner, okay? Now, let me break something down to you real quickly. I got the download Neolithic this morning at 8 a.m. and I was like, Neolithic? Okay, so when I looked it up, Neolithic is relating to the period when humans used tools and weapons made of stone and had just developed farming, okay? This was roughly 5,000 to 3,000 years BC or earlier. The ancient Egyptians were Neolithic. And I just told you, 3 days in the street equals 3,000 years because 1 day with God is 1,000 years. 5,000 to 3,000 years BC, okay? That's how long that the two witnesses have been silenced from speaking or been waiting to come back in this lifetime to witness this truth, okay? Now, if you take the 3,000 years takeaway 2025, because I started putting everything together for this download in 2025. I started getting little pieces in 2025, okay? Got the download in 2024, started getting answers and pieces and messages in 2025. So 3,000 takeaway 2025, which is when I started to get this specific information, equals 975. And what did I tell you already? In 975 BC was the fall of Jerusalem. Boom. Boom. So, in 2025 began the new fall of Israel, of Jerusalem. And if I'm not mistaken, in 2025 is when people started learning about the influence of Jewish people in certain areas like the music industry, sports, etc., and their little bit of their darkness. People started to see, like with the Epstein files, and people are starting to see that, hold on, why is there so many Jewish people in these dark spaces doing these dark things? That was the new fall of Israel, of Jerusalem in 2025, okay? Now, if you take 975 BC and you add 9 plus 7 plus 5, that equals 21. And 21 reduces down to the number 3. And the number 3 is the true divine Trinity, which I talked about in a post recently. The true divine Trinity is 1, the Father, which is the divine masculine, which would be Osiris. 2, the Son, the S-U-N, not the S-O-N, the Father, the Son, God, Ra. Okay? And then the Spirit, the divine feminine, which would be Isis. And Isis is the goddess of magic. So the true divine Trinity, the two witnesses are here. Two witness, Isis and Osiris, the two witnesses are here to witness to the world the truth of Ra, the truth of God, and the truth of the bloodline of Ra, and to teach of the true divine Trinity, which consists of the Father, the divine masculine, the Son, S-U-N, God, Ra, and the Spirit, divine feminine, Isis. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of that message. But that was another message that I was given, and like I said, I had no idea what any of that meant when I got it in 2024. 2025, I started getting little pieces about like the Ark of the Covenant, the 975, and follow Drew, all that little stuff I started getting in 2025. And just the other day, it all came together and made sense why I was given this from the beginning. So guys, I declare and decree that made sense. I am trying my best to make these downloads make sense as I'm trying to explain them. Because when they come to me, I understand them because they're coming to me. Okay, so I understand them. It's difficult for me to sometimes put them into words for everyone else to understand how God talks to me and how my mind works with what God says. So yeah, but that's all I have for this message. I'm going to go ahead and close this message here. And I will be back with much, much more. There's so much more. Oh my God, guys, it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. Thank you so much for being members. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for what is the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. Basically, thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging with these videos, because like I said several times, these subjects are very advanced subjects. These subjects are very delicate subjects for someone who is not as awakened. So thank you so much for taking the time to be open-minded and accepting of these messages. But I'm going to close it like I said. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces!